India, only the sixth country in the world to have a nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, but we are yet to develop our own conventional submarine.
And a question which worries most of us at night.
Do you mean an all-of-nation approach?
I have to be capable of making all the component systems which go into making the submarine.
So where did the Koreans get it right and where did we go wrong?
Spiral development is the key to success. Rather than saying this time I'll pick up German boats, next time I'll pick up French boats, third time I'll bring up some other boat.
Why not just have one submarine group producing nuclear and conventional boats?
It was a product of the secrecy of the nuclear submarine program.
24 submarines were projected by 2030. We are just 5 years away. We just have 6 of those submarines.
Our adversaries, Pakistan, third Yuan class has been launched.
The Chinese Navy, I've lost count of how many submarines they have.
Their nuclear submarines will, really become a threat for us in the coming years.
Produced our own aircraft carrier, destroyers and frigates. But when it came to the submarine arm, things have taken a backseat.
It is well within our capability.
Hello and welcome to the Sandeep Unnithan Show, your weekly dose of defense, geopolitics and much, much more. Today I have with me on my show Vice Admiral Sanjay Mahendru, former Deputy Chief of the Naval Staff. Admiral Mahendru, welcome to my show.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you for having me over. Great pleasure.
It's always a pleasure speaking with you, Admiral Mahendru. I met you exactly once. I don't know if you remember this. It was a long time ago. It was in 2009. It was a sheltered shipyard called the Shipbuilding Center. We were a very small group of press people, extremely privileged to be at the launch of the INS Arihant, which you commanded first. You were the first commissioning commanding officer of the INS Arihant. So it was a proud day for all of us, for all Indians who'd seen the INS Arihant as a technological breakthrough for a country like ours. And of course, we've had several other breakthroughs, but I believe that a country building its own ballistic missile submarine, launching it, a nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, that was a very, very big breakthrough indeed for us. But, I want to talk to you mainly about the submarine arm. You're a veteran submariner, sir. You've commanded so many submarines, including the Arihant. You've been flag officer submarines, before retiring as the Deputy Chief of Naval Staff. I want to start by asking you this conundrum that I've always had, that India, only the sixth country in the world to have a nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, but we are yet to develop our own conventional submarine. We're still looking for a conventional submarine from a foreign shipyard. Why did this happen? Why did we have different priorities when it came to strategic submarines and for the conventional submarines?
Thanks, Sandeep. Great question, and a question which worries most of us at night, most of us submariners and people who delve with matters military. Right. It's a concern. First, I'd like to echo the sentiment that you expressed in saying that certainly Arihant was extremely critical, breakthrough,
right,
which came through because of various factors. It came through largely because we created an organization.
Right.
We created a national commitment,
right,
to make a nuclear submarine, and we continued on it for decades.
Right.
Whether it was the design, it was the construction, it was the development of equipment. We did that in a very focused manner. Right. Of course, at that time, it was kept under wraps,
yes,
for reasons of secrecy, because as a country, we had not declared our intention to make a nuclear submarine, and more than that, a nuclear submarine, an SSBN.
Right.
We had not declared it, which of course changed on 26th of July 2009 when we met. But the larger reason which I think we have not been able to succeed on the conventional front is because we have not created such an organization,
right,
which is tasked with making a conventional boat.
Right.
The Navy is largely tasked with procurement,
right,
operation and maintenance. Right. Making a submarine ab initio, whether it is conventional or nuclear, is a task much larger than what the Navy is supposed to do. It is not manned for that.
So you have the ATV, the Advanced Technology Vessel program directorate which produces the nuclear submarines, but we don't have a similar organization in the Navy to produce conventional submarines.
Absolutely. You have a directorate which is tasked with acquisition of submarines.
Right.
But we do not have an equivalent organization which looks after in a holistic manner
Right.
the construction, design, equipment development of conventional submarines.
But don't we have the submarine design group within the Indian Navy which designs submarines? Like you have a one for Warship Design Bureau, which has brought out a number of successful warship designs. Why doesn't the Submarine Design Bureau, bring out submarines, produce these submarine designs?
Firstly, you have to be tasked. Again, like I said, which is the agency which is going to task them?
Right.
So you've got to be tasked. I am quite confident with my experience that the Submarine Design Bureau is more than capable of designing a nuclear conventional submarine.
Right.
The most important thing in a conventional submarine or any submarine design is the knowledge of the steel that we use.
Right.
We have indigenized our own steel.
Yes.
Now you are aware.
Oh, that's a breakthrough
it's
again.
A breakthrough again.
Yes.
It was not so with Arihant, but the subsequent boats are being made with our own steel.
Right.
Now, once I understand the methodology, the normatives, like we call them, the welding procedures and the stresses and strains that my steel can withstand,
right,
I actually have most of the answers in my hand. So, constructing the submarine by itself with that knowledge, whether it is conventional or nuclear, is reasonably, I won't say easy, but it is possible.
Right.
And there is no reason why the design bureau, submarine design agency, bureau cannot design a conventional submarine. They are more than capable of doing it. I am fully confident about that. It is just that we have to task somebody to do it.
Right. You mean when you say task somebody, I mean, is it something like like the ATVP, the directorate was tasked to build a nuclear submarine 4 decades ago, 1984. And we launched the submarine in 2009. It sailed out in 18, did its deterrent patrols, and it's now part of the Strategic Forces Command. But when you say tasking, do you mean an all-of-nation approach, an organization that is much more than just a design bureau, or what exactly would you have in mind? What kind of structure would you have in mind?
It has to be an organization of which one part is the design.
Right.
The second part is the design has to be supported by equipment which is made in the country.
Right.
Finally, our aim is to make our own boats.
Right.
Making my own boat doesn't only making the design.
Right.
I have to be capable of making all the component systems which go into making the submarine.
Right.
So it is a iterative process between the equipment developer and the designer. It's a give and take. The equipment developer can give only that much. Designer will then use that as a constraint and design accordingly.
Right.
On the other hand, the designer demands on the equipment manufacturer that I want this.
Right.
So it is an iterative process.
Right.
On top of that, I need someone to coordinate it. So these two people are talking to each other, but there has to be an agency on top which says, no, this is the amount of money I have, this is the amount of time you have, please use it. So in, let's say, phase 1, I will use these constraints and go no further. But by the time I will develop the capability in phase 2.
Right.
So you see countries like Korea, you see other countries who have developed their boats like that in a progressive spiral development method.
You know, I was going to ask you about the Korean model Admiral Mahendru and Type 209 1500, a class that you commanded, the INS Shalki. The Koreans got their first submarine much after we did. We bought it in 81, the 4 submarines. They got it in 86 or 87.
We got our first boat in 86.
Yes.
They got it a few years later.
Right. They signed the deal in 86, 87 and...
early 90s or something, they got their first boat.
And lo and behold, a few years back, they were offering us a variant of the same boat that they had bought at the same time. So where did the Koreans get it right and where did we go wrong? We both started at the same time. Conventional submarines, I'm saying. Korea doesn't have nuclear submarines, but conventional submarines, where did the Koreans go right and what is it that we can emulate from the Korean example?
Excellent question. So it is a point of view, Sandeep. We think of submarines in 6s, let's say, for instance.
Right.
No one else thinks of submarines in those numbers. A submarine is always a progressive development.
Right.
So I make one, it goes into the next and improves in the third version. If you make 6 and stop, your shipyards are empty. All the machinery infrastructure that you created that to make those 6 boats stand still for the next 15 years. It is not as if you have to make 6 in 6 years and then stop. It cannot happen like that.
Right.
There is something we call the production drumbeat.
Right.
That means instead of making one submarine every year,
Yes.
I would rather make one submarine every 2.5 years.
Right.
I can always ramp up if things go south
Right.
as far as the security scenario goes.
Yeah.
I can always ramp up my capability. But the fact remains that does it make sense
Right.
to make submarines at such an accelerated pace?
Yes.
I would rather do it. I keep my shipyards engaged. I keep my expertise lengthened. People don't retire together.
Right.
I don't lose expertise. So exactly that is what the Koreans did. They made
the production drumbeat.
drumbeat. So they
Right.
made 3. They bought it totally the 209
Yeah.
equivalents. In the next one, they made the hull themselves.
Right.
They got all the sensors from the Germans.
Right.
Okay, so that was the KSS 2.
Yes.
So they got the sensors from them, made the design on their own with help from the Germans. Germans were validating things,
Yeah.
but they got their sensors from them, they got the propulsion possibly from
Right.
them, and they made it. Now in KSS 3, they've gone it all by themselves.
Right.
So they've extended the boat,
Yeah.
they have used different propulsion, they have made their own sensors.
Right.
So you have to continue with the same type of boat.
Spiral development.
Spiral development
Right.
is the key to success. Rather than saying this time I'll pick up German boats, next time I'll pick up French boats, third time I'll bring up some other boat. It is not possible like that.
Right.
It is a philosophy that I import when I buy or import a submarine.
Right.
Either I use that knowledge which I get from them to progressively integrate into my shipyard, into my design,
Right.
or I start on my own, because we've had infusion of Russian design,
Yeah.
German design, French design. So we are extremely actually fortunate
Yeah.
that we have all these, submarine design and construction capabilities which the government has afforded to the Navy and the shipyards.
Yes.
But when is the output going to come and how are we going to get that output
Right.
is the question. So we have to create this agency, to my mind,
Yes.
which is tasked to getting all this knowledge together,
Right.
and we have already created a nuclear submarine.
Yes.
Another point is that there is not that much difference between a nuclear and a conventional submarine.
Right. How different? I would think that they were completely different. A nuclear submarine is much bigger, of course. It has a nuclear reactor. It's more than 6,000 tons. A conventional submarine is about 2,000 plus tons, much smaller. But you're saying that there's a lot in common between the two.
So a submarine largely is about 30 to 35 basic systems.
Yeah.
From my diving, surfacing, to my air systems, to my hydraulic systems.
Right.
Now, those basic systems remain the same, whether it is in a nuclear submarine or a conventional submarine.
Right.
The propulsion changes. So, in a nuclear submarine, I would have a reactor
Yeah.
with a steam plant.
Yeah.
On a conventional submarine, I create energy
Yeah.
through my diesels, store it in a battery, and then use it through a motor.
Right.
So, I have to develop that chain, propulsion chain. But other than that, everything else
All
remains
your
the same.
pumps and your firefighting
Mostly the
systems
firefighting system, the diving
Right.
surfacing system,
Right.
most
The
of the
periscopes.
periscopes,
Right.
they may be larger.
Right.
So certainly when I've got a 8,000, 10,000 or a 12,000 ton submarine, everything increases in scale
Right.
or in size or in numbers. But if I can make something large, I can always miniaturize it. I know what are the issues to be dealt
Right.
with.
So my follow-on question would be then, why did we have these silos then? Why did we have a separate silo for building strategic submarines and a separate one for conventional submarines? Why not just have one submarine group producing nuclear and conventional boats?
So I think it was a product of the secrecy which came through because of the secrecy of the nuclear submarine program.
Right.
The nuclear submarine program till 2009, when the Prime Minister launched Arihant,
Yeah.
was kept under wraps, and we never acknowledged the presence of
Right.
such a program. Certainly then, and it is a matter of great credit actually to the country and to SBC and ATV and everybody
Yes.
down the line, that we never leaked anything. There was not a single photograph
Right.
of the boat under production. You
Right.
can imagine you're doing something for 10 years and nothing has come out in the press.
Right.
It's difficult today to imagine that, but we did it. So
Right.
it was an achievement and it was a necessity of that time.
Right.
But those times have changed.
Right.
We don't need to go totally public like the
Yes.
Americans take people on board nuclear submarines,
Right.
civil. We don't need to go that far. But there is no need, on the other hand, to keep it totally separate from the conventional.
Right.
There is a time now
Yes.
to merge them to the extent you don't have to. The only thing that is different in a nuclear submarine is the reactor and the weapons.
Right.
Certainly, the weapons are a totally different area.
Yeah.
We don't need to put them, in the design. We know the length, breadth, and height of the missile. That is
Yes.
good enough.
Yes.
After that, we don't need to integrate. But the agencies, the
Right.
yards, the design bureaus, to my mind, certainly can be common. There is no difference. And let's say France, the same DCNS or the naval group
Right.
makes the nuclear submarines and makes the conventional submarines. There is no difference.
So we can do that now
I
in
think
India.
it is a requirement. It's a call
Right.
that we have to take
Right.
very, very clearly.
Because, and the reason why we are talking about this is that we have a problem with submarines. We don't have enough submarines. In the 1990s, we heard this expression called the lost decade, which is when you did not order ships and submarines for a decade, and because of which you had to keep running your old ships and submarines. Now you're looking at a repeat of that scenario, another lost decade, when the last submarines, conventional submarines that we ordered was nearly 20 years ago. The 6 Scorpions have been delivered. We're good on the surface ships. I mean, this month we are commissioning 2 of the Nilgiri class on the same day. It's a big achievement for indigenous shipbuilding. But when it comes to submarines, you had a very forward-looking policy. I think the Navy was the first service to have a 30-year perspective plan for submarine building, shipbuilding and submarine building. 24 submarines were projected by 2030. We are just 5 years away. We just have 6 of those submarines out of the 24 that were planned. So we have a shortfall of numbers. And I think your friends in the Air Force will tell you about how they have a problem with shrinking fighter squadron numbers. And we have a problem here with conventional submarines as well. So actually, do you think it's a house on fire moment now for the Navy and, of course, the nation as a whole when it comes to submarines?
Somehow we have created, you're very right, the force levels are rather low.
Right.
Especially considering the fact that our adversaries, Pakistan, and you would have read just a couple of days ago, the 3rd Yuan class has been launched.
3rd of 8. They're
3rd
planning
of
to
8,
get 8
and 4 will be made in China and 4 in Karachi. So on the one hand, they are getting newer boats.
Right.
And especially on the conventional side, we talk about our adversary as Pakistan. The fact, of course, remains that submarines don't find submarines
Yes.
in a war.
That's a misnomer.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that way we are a very target-rich Navy.
Right.
So even if the adversary has got 3 good submarines,
Yes.
we've got a lot of frigates and
Yes.
destroyers available. On the other hand, I've got very few targets on the other side.
Right.
Yeah, you understand that. So I need much more submarines
Yes.
actually to find those few targets
Right.
to hit them. But coming back to your question of the dire necessity,
Yes.
and why we are in this situation today. Like I said, certainly we are in a situation where we need urgent action.
Right.
And why we are in that situation today is that, to my mind, we need to separate capability and capacity building.
Right.
You see, the number of submarines required as a part of the 30-year submarine building plan
24 was the number.
was a number.
Right.
So I would say that was an assessment at that time.
Right.
These are not written in stone. As the geopolitical situation changes, you may add SSNs,
Right.
you may reduce conventional boats, that depends on how the country goes.
So if I may ask Admiral Mahendru, that number 24 was a projection from the late 1990s.
Correct.
Did it factor in the Chinese Navy as well? Or was it only meant for Pakistan? You're looking at a force of 24 conventional submarines for the Indian Navy. You're looking at a scenario today in 2025 when you have Pakistan, which has got 8 Chinese submarines, and you have the Chinese Navy, which is, I've lost count of how many submarines they have because they're just changing every few months. They're building so many of them. They have one of the fastest growing submarine arms.
Just the PLA Navy has got, as of now, about 56 conventional boats,
Right.
and 6 SSNs and 6 SSBNs. That is what the strength is now.
And
today.
they're producing 4 submarines
their
every...
nuclear submarines will
Right.
really become a threat for us in the coming years.
Right.
Coming back to your
The 24 submarines, are they sufficient?
I wouldn't like to comment on that because it's
Right.
a naval job.
Right.
But certainly I would like to, I think, hazard a guess to say that, you see, the PLA Navy was not so much in our minds at that time.
In the 90s.
In the 90s. Not certainly
Right.
a threat. And we famously would have said that the PLA Navy it has surprised the world.
Yeah.
The
It
rate
was
at which the Navy has
Yes.
accelerated its growth and shipbuilding especially.
Yeah.
Submarine building will happen now.
Right.
I think they have laid the foundation for that very well. Their shipbuilding industry per se
Right.
has grown at such a rate. I don't think we would have factored in this kind of growth of the PLA Navy,
Explosive
growth into our plans when we put out the 30-year submarine building plan.
Right. You think there's time for another?
We keep reviewing it. I presume the Navy reviews it regularly. We call it the 30-year, but it gets reviewed regularly. Certainly, it is not static.
It's a dynamic plan.
Thing.
Right.
But my point is that it will get even more dynamic.
Right.
But the fact that the point I was trying to make is that we've got to develop the capability to make SSNs,
right.
SSBNs we already have,
yes,
and conventional boats indigenously,
right.
Atmanirbhar. Once we are able to do that, once I have the capability, capacity, I think we've got very good yards, we've got MDL, we've got L&T, we've got HSL which can be ramped up,
yes.
we've got various yards. So if the country needs, if the geopolitical situation so demands,
right.
if I have my plans, if I have my designs, if I have my equipment, and if I have my workmen in place, then it becomes simpler. But what we seem to be running away from is the first step towards this capability building.
And what would be that first step?
First step is to go ahead with the indigenous program
right.
without worrying about numbers.
Right.
Whether it is 1 or 2, it doesn't make a difference.
When you say indigenous program, a conventional submarine program, are you referring to the Project 76 conventional submarine?
It is called Project 76 now, but this has been in the works for many years.
Right.
So I'm not saying that the import of submarines is not required.
Right.
Certainly with the current force levels, there is an urgent need for immediate infusion of some sort.
Right.
But these two have to happen simultaneously, parallelly.
Right.
So that while I am doing this infusion over the short term to meet my force level requirements, I am also producing this capability to make my own port.
Right.
So that next time, now we've done this 2 times already. I have imported the SDW, I have imported the Scorpions, and I will import in all probability some submarine to meet my force level shortfall.
The 75 India project.
What organizational change or what structural change have I made to ensure that it doesn't happen the third time?
Right.
So I have to look at it in a holistic, structural manner, like the organization we spoke about,
yes.
who's responsible to absorb this technology and assures me that this 76 will happen. And these have to happen parallelly. They cannot happen sequentially. It takes too much time.
Is it a resource thing? Is it a budgetary issue that you can't afford parallel submarine program? Because as you're suggesting, you're saying that go for 75 India and go for 76 as well simultaneously. 75, as we know, is a foreign shipyard that is going to partner with an Indian shipyard, and 76 is entirely our own. You're saying that pursue both in parallel.
Sandeep, you know as well as I do, is that all these submarine programs are multi-decadal.
Yes.
A couple of decades. So if I enter into a contract for 75 India, it will take at least 5 to 7 years for the first boat to come out.
Boat.
And even if I do it at an accelerated pace
right.
of 1 per year for 6 boats or whatever be the number,
right.
I don't want to get into the number, it will be 14 or 15 years by the time I get the last boat.
Right.
Similarly, for the conventional, let's say 76,
yes.
it is going to take me slightly longer.
Right.
So the cost is amortized over 15 years.
Right.
And so even if it is some amount of money, I'm quite certain, and certainly we don't have a surfeit of money, nor is the country or the Navy overflowing with money to be put into the defense sector. But I think we can very easily meet the capital requirements over 15 years. It is amortized over a long duration of time.
Right.
And the more we delay, the costs are only going to escalate.
Right.
The costs are going to become more and more, and the capacity and the capability which we could have built, we are denying ourselves that.
Right.
That is.
So, what was the reason that so many decades it's taken us? Whereas in the other programs have been, we've produced our own aircraft carrier. That's a remarkable achievement. We have destroyers and frigates. But when it came to the submarine arm, I think it's things have taken a backseat. Is it? What is the reason? Is it because of technology issues? Because there were so few shipyards that controlled it? Or is it, like you said, this organizational issue?
To my mind, I would say, I think if we set the organization into place,
right.
we make a central agency which looks after submarine design, whether it is conventional or nuclear, submarine equipment manufacturing, whether it is nuclear or conventional,
right.
and the management of the program. One agency, if we create with that, I think that it is well within our capability. I mean, I would like to very clearly state that there is no doubt in my mind that we can make conventional submarines. We may have to get some components.
Yes.
Yes, we may take a little longer. Yes, but unless we make a beginning today, are we ever going to do it? And we get back to the first, statement that you made on the, groundbreaking achievement of Arihant.
Yes.
We did it only because we believed in ourselves.
Right.
We had help, we took help, but we believed in ourselves.
It was acknowledged by the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister, yes. So similarly in the conventional side,
right,
we just have to have that confidence. We have the capability, and for people like us who have seen this, for decades,
right,
we are more than confident that we can do it. It's only a matter of making up our mind and saying, let's go and do it.
Right, absolutely. Let's go and do it. And that's a very, very positive sentiment. Coming from you, Admiral Mahendru. I mean, you're someone who's seen it all. You've been in the thick of things. But tell us, because the Arihant is not very widely spoken about. It's like you mentioned, it's in the realm of secrecy. What was the big achievement? What are the few achievements that you can tell us of this strategic submarine? What did it do for India's Atmanirbhar capabilities and our capacities? Apart from the strategic thing, it's a very vital part of our strategic system. But what did it do for our industrial capacity, our capability to engineer, to make a product, to continue operating it and servicing it? Give us your thoughts on this.
Sandeep, it is a unique program and a uniquely successful program. I'd like to reiterate, not because I was a part of it for more than a decade, but otherwise, even so, if I was associated with, I would say it was extremely unique. Unique in more than one senses because it was the first on many fronts.
Right.
It was the first submarine that we made.
Right.
We had made submarines in MDL, but it was somebody else's design,
right,
using a licensing agreement. This was not like that. We made our first submarine. We made our first reactor on a submarine ourselves.
Right.
We took help. And like you said, the Prime Minister on that day acknowledged the help that we got from the countries that have helped us. But we did it ourselves. We got the reactor going in 2013. That again was a press release on 10th of August 2013. So we made the first reactor. So we made our first nuclear submarine. We made our first submarine. And even within nuclear submarines, the highest pedestal or the highest achievement in submarining is the SSBN.
Yes.
Because I have to integrate this very complex missile, which moves out of the submarine while it is moving. So underwater, I am releasing a missile which takes off underwater and moves vertically out and goes into the air and then shoots off into the atmosphere.
Right.
Now, all these things, rather these four things, submarine, nuclear submarine, SSBN and the SLBM,
yes,
we put them together and got it into Arihant. So I think it was a great achievement.
Right.
It is not only that, you can do that, you can learn the design, but operationalizing a submarine.
Yes.
Ab initio, it is like saying that I was running a missile boat of 200 tons or 1,500 tons, and I moved to an aircraft carrier. Any naval officer will tell you. So you have gone to 8,000 tons.
Right.
So the number of compartments, the number of decks, the procedures, processes, the trials, we learned on our own without any help from any country how to operationalize that submarine, how to get it going, how to make it safe. After all, you were running a reactor.
Yes.
You were running a reactor. So we had to put it into our system. We did all this on our own. So it has given us the confidence of designing, constructing, operationalization, conduct of trials. We did trials for many years. Like you came in 2009, we commissioned in 2016.
Right.
All those years were used for trials.
Right.
The trial process is extremely turgid, extremely complex, and we were doing it for the first time. So we went very slowly, simply, and I think even that was a great achievement. Collectively, I mean, it is the whole program, the Navy involved, DRDO, everybody, BRC. But we did it. We did all that. So, and to my mind, these are the learning. And you will see now, you reported some time ago on the second boat joining us and the impending commissioning of the third boat. Certainly, they will come out much faster, in better conditions than, of readiness as Arihant came out, in shorter timelines, with better crews. Because we have that inherent critical expertise in our system now.
Right.
I don't need to go to any other navy or any other country and ask them anything.
We are truly Atmanirbhar in that
Absolutely.
sense.
Absolutely.
Right. And what about the industrial ecosystem that the boat has created? I mean, we're hearing very high indigenous component, percentage that we've used. A lot of it from industries within India. The late Manohar Parikar had once told me about how proud he was about the boat because it was a very high indigenous component that was used. Can those capabilities, can those capacities that we have created be leveraged for, say, Project 75I and 76?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we've got a extremely thriving submarine equipment ecosystem. We just have to harness it.
Right.
We've got big companies like L&T,
Right.
which is involved in the heavy engineering part of it.
Yeah.
Also in some components of design, which is the working level or the detailed designing part of it. We've got shipyards like MDL,
Yeah.
which have done this and can very easily graduate to the next level where they are doing submarine design to a certain degree. We've got number of vendors who, as a part of the nuclear submarine project, have created many components of submarines. We just need to harness them. We just
Right.
need to scale them to meet our requirement on the conventional boat. I don't think there is a problem on that. And I think we have a thriving and being involved for more than a decade on the first boat, the kind of enthusiasm and the kind of commitment of MSMEs, smaller than MSMEs,
Right.
small scale people who did not have the privilege of visiting the boat, but had a sense that they're involved in something larger than themselves. The
Right.
kind of commitment we saw was, really great. And I think we have that kind of commitment in our people, in our industry today. We just have to give them the chance.
Just give them the chance. And as the saying goes, sir, that yes, we can. And after listening to you, I'm so filled with optimism that we truly have both the capacity and the capability to build our own submarines. If we can do it with the Arihant, we can certainly do it with the conventional submarines. And who knows, we could be exporting conventional submarines as well. But thank you very much for taking out the time to speak to us here at Chakra Newz, Admiral Mahendru. Thank you for your time and for your thoughts.